Christian Eriksen. We know that the story in this match will at so many times be about Christian Eriksen. But Pat, what other stories are we going to see from both of these sides this afternoon?
Well, first of all, in that we've just had a game that threw up the most extraordinary surprise. Extraordinary surprise. It's going to be a difficult one to call. I mean, the Tunisians will want to come out here, and we may well be lifted by the fact that there has already been one super shock. This wouldn't be a super shock, it would be a surprise. So what I'm intrigued to see, I will really want to see two teams that go at each other. We'll see if that harms.
Well, it is Denmark who get us underway. Christian Eriksen's comeback to the big stage begins. And Denmark builds quickly down the left-hand side. Very bright start from them, early ball into the penalty area, cleared behind by Ali Abdi of Tunisia for a corner inside the opening 15 seconds. And it will be Christian Eriksen, of course it will be, to jog over to take it.
What is intriguing is you actually find the kickoffs, it's well worked out. They've had a long time to think about everything. So they start with a very specific kickoff, and that's both games that we have seen together. The kickoffs have led to half chances.
So Eriksen to take this corner from the near side, swung deep into the Tunisian penalty area. Big cheers from the Tunisian fans here at Education City as that's cleared out of the penalty area. That comes right back over to Denmark on this right-hand side. Eriksen once more, heavy challenge. Oh, look at that. Isa Laiduni slid in, brilliant challenge on Eriksen, but the huge fist bump to the Tunisian fans behind the goal. Now a double clenched fist. They are up for this, Tunisia, and then some.
Well, that reaction there from Laiduni is absolutely incredible. I don't think I have ever seen that in the first moments of a football match, where he's getting the crowd up, who, by the way, already are up. There's no problem, mate. They're absolutely fine at the moment. So he's lifting them again. They want to make sure as much pressure is put on the Danes as it possibly can be, and not to be forgotten the fact, and the referee's having a word with him saying calm down. Actually, that might be quite sensible, because if you're that excited and hyped out about a tackle, which was quite a good tackle on Christian Eriksen, it has to be said.
It was, as Tunisia, all in white, have the ball just outside their penalty area. Denmark all in red, and they will clear the ball long field. Tunisia over the halfway line. It's trapped by Slimane down that right hand side. Nice lay-up in the centre of the park now to the captain Maksani. Urged to shoot, ricochet, won't quite fall for Tunisia inside the Denmark penalty area, and Denmark will clear the ball away up to Andreas Skov Olsen, and now Rasmus Christensen of Leeds United, Joachim Andersen of Crystal Palace, all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. And listen to the whistles and the cheers. This is going to be a challenge for Denmark, because you go back to the Euros, they became everybody's favourite side for the neutrals, of course for understandable reasons. They played so many matches out in Copenhagen in front of the partisan home crowd for then, but this is essentially almost like an away match for them.
It absolutely feels like it. There's a lot about stop and play there. Christensen got hit in the head with the ball, and so asked the referee to stop it. The referee stopped it immediately. They had a bounce ball, so it may well be that the abuse that they've actually been getting for the, not taking the protocols into account has actually got through.
So Denmark it is in possession with their captain Simon Kjær, exchanging passes with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and now Kjær will bring the ball forward. So Schmeichel in goal for Denmark. The back three of Andersen, Kjær, Christensen. Ahead of them, it's Rasmus Christensen, Højbjerg, Eriksen, Delaney and Mæhle, with Dolberg and Skov Olsen up front as Tunisia get the foot in. Tunisia with Damen in goal. The defence of Talbi, Bron and Maria, Drager, Laiduni, Shkiri and Abdi. Ahead of them with Slimane, Msakni and Jebeli up front. And here are Tunisia winning the ball back with Ali Abdi just inside their own half on the left-hand side. Their number 9, Issam Jebeli, goes down. No free kick given by our referee Cesar Ramos of Mexico, but Tunisia still in possession, and their captain Msakni, who started very well, playing it forward to Jebeli as they work it out to the right now, and Slimane. Good move this by Tunisia. Down the right-hand side, Denmark with all the red shirts, getting back inside the penalty area. Andreas Christensen is dispossessed down by the byline. Big chance for Tunisia here. Christensen recovers, makes the block, and they clear away, but they cannot get out of their own half at the moment. Tunisia wants a free kick, not given by the referee, and Denmark will clear away 4.5 minutes in. At the moment, Pat, it's all Tunisia. They've won the ball back midway inside the Denmark half. Denmark yet to get going yet, and Tunisia have started like an absolute rocket here. They're now slowing it down on the halfway line, but this is a great start.
It's a great start in a number of ways, playing that tempo. Good luck trying to keep that tempo up for the entirety of the game. We'll talk about the heat or lack of, because they've got aircon on in here. 1 minute it's boiling, next minute it's freezing. I wonder if that's what it's like for the players down there. But they have started at that level. They've also put the pressure on the Danes by throwing themselves to the ground at every single opportunity this early in the game. The referee's not went for it so far, but it's a hell of a lot of pressure on the referee, because the Tunisians are shouting for every single one of them.
So 5 minutes played, 0-0, and Tunisia coming down the left-hand side with Msakni, the captain, foot in at the back by Anderson. It's cleared away by Denmark, but only as far as Msakni. He's been absolutely everywhere in this opening 5 minutes or so. The Tunisia captain was a huge miss for them at the World Cup back in 2018, missed that through injury and was a doubt for this one as well, but managed to be fit enough to make the squad. He makes the starting lineup, and his side so far enjoying the best of it. 6 minutes gone here on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and across Africa on the BBC World Service. Here are Tunisia in the centre of the Denmark half, well shepherded away by Thomas Delaney.
The referee's been brave. They've thrown themselves to the ground. I would say that's 6 or 7 times in the game already. If a Tunisian players throw themselves to the ground looking for a free kick, the referee saying, no, not from me. They've got to get their heads round it. They've really got to get their heads round it. They can't do that. This referee hasn't fallen for it, and I really hope he continues not to fall for it. It's a cultural thing, may well be in a league they play in. They get fouls for that. Well, they ain't getting them here.
So Denmark in possession with this back three. Interesting seeing the Tunisian formation. It's unusual for them to play with a back three, and they're starting back into that back five now when they're out of position. But it moves into almost more of a 4, doesn't it, when they're going forward, and that is their more natural formation to play.
I think they got that wrong by going into a back 4. I think they made a mistake. They went back into mistakenly their natural position. This is an absolute stick-on back 3 supposedly, but the 2 wing backs are playing a wee bit too far up when they've got the ball, because the Danes are cleverly leaving 2 up front and 1 behind. I think they'll get a few one-on-ones, the Danes, today.
Yeah, you've got Drager at right wing back for Tunisia and Abdi at left wing back. Tactical battles already early on in this match as Tunisia win the ball just inside their own half and play the ball up towards the halfway line. Cleared away by Denmark, and this time Joachim Andersen of Crystal Palace does concede the free kick, and the free kick will be taken by Tunisia just inside their own half. 0-0.
Yeah, but it's a lively start, you know, and you see a team start like this and you think, can you keep it up? But the belief in themselves, the belief in the players, and not sitting back. We talk about the history of Tunisia, a team that defends well, you know, and playing the break, all that sort of stuff. It hasn't been like that. My fear today was 2 teams that play with back 3s, as it were. You know, is it going to be a dull game? So far, there's not been many clear-cut chances, but it's a good game. It's a game played at high tempo.
So Denmark in possession, playing it over to the right-hand side, and Rasmus Christensen. Again, ball goes out of play, and Tunisia will take the throw. Tunisia, who were thumped 5-1 by Brazil in September. They did go down to 10 men in the first half, although they were already 4-1 down at that point. But they have been on a run of 7 clean sheets before that defeat. So it's one of those, if they get it right, Tunisia, they are capable of frustrating sides. And so far, they're having the better of it against Denmark. 8.5 minutes played on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and across Africa on the BBC World Service. And it's 0-0. As Denmark won't keep possession in over on that far side, and Tunisia will have a throw just inside the Danish half on the right-hand side.
I think one of the things we always have to remember is, you know, teams that are... I mean, there's been a few games in this World Cup now, but for these teams that hasn't, for these players that hasn't, they're hyped up for it. They've been waiting a long time for this. They're buzzing a bit being out in that field, so there's a lot of nervous energy at the start of this game, and well, I suppose no more than Laiduni, more than anyone else right at the start of the game. But it seems to have come down into a little bit of a more obvious style now, systems now, and certainly I can see the intelligence of Skov Olsen. He knows where the gaps are. You know, it's behind the wing back, between him and the centre back, and that's where the Danes are trying to play the ball, but they're not finding space there yet.
They're not, but they are settling a little, Denmark, into the rhythm that we expected them to find. But Tunisia it is, still in possession, just outside their own penalty area. Played forwards, looking for the run of Issam Javeli. And again, Tunisia will win the throw on this near side. Denmark are the favourites for this one. They are, again, as if you've been listening to our build-up on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, dark horses. I think many people wouldn't even call them that. They have outstripped that tag, given that outstanding performance at the Euros last summer. They are certainly a side that feel they have the capability to go a long way into this competition, but so far it's all Tunisia at the moment, and Denmark can't get hold of the ball. They're in possession, Tunisia, on the halfway line, out to the left-hand side, and Abdi manages to win the throw. Well, Tunisia are certainly claiming for it, and Rasmus Christensen of Leeds. Protests are to no avail, and it is Tunisia who play the ball into Msakni, and now laid off to that right-hand side. The shot driven in, and Kasper Schmeichel let it fly wide. Got a deflection on the way through. It's a corner. Well, he spread his arms out big, didn't he, with his white gloves. Kasper Schmeichel, as if to say, oh, I'm going to leave that. Goodness me, it's a corner. It could have been worse for Denmark.
Typical goalkeeper's reaction. He knew fine well there was too much deflection to react to, and there was nothing he could have done if that had flown into the corner. It's just gone about a foot wide. And a corner kick to Tunisia, and they are doing well at start here. So Tunisia with this corner from the near side, the red Danish shirts, the white Tunisian shirts, all clustered around the penalty area. Our referee, Cesar Ramos, just making sure that the players are ready. And Tunisia with this chance to try and find the breakthrough. 12 minutes almost gone at Education City. It's been all Tunisia so far. Can they find a way to breach the Danish defence? The header at the near post is flicked on. It's flicked over the bar. It's behind for a Danish goal kick. One of the interesting things about this, before the ball's coming in, I'm looking at the box. I'm looking very, very closely at the marking, because this World Cup looks different. And one of the biggest differences is there's obviously people who are just staring at the challenges in the box. So VAR are looking at this really, really closely. They won't be looking at the ball. They'll be seeing if any of those kind of rugby tackle challenges in there. They've been given the penalties early on, so that'll make a big difference to how players are marked. You might see more goals. You'll certainly see more penalties given.
So that goal kick from Kasper Schmeichel is all the way through to Ayman Damen in the Tunisia goal, all in bright yellow this afternoon. Clears up towards halfway. Tunisia win the second header, cleared forward, but Simon Kjaer will come forward and clear that ball to the edge of the Tunisia penalty area. Comes back from Tunisia to Rasmus Christensen. Slight miscue from Talby at the back for Tunisia, and Denmark will send it forward once again. Bit of head tennis being played. Dolberg can't bring it down for Denmark, but it will be stolen by Pierre-Emile Højbjerg of Tottenham. Skov Olsen wins the throw of Anis Slimane.
Do you know one of the most important things for the Danes just now is Christian Eriksen said one touch of the ball, and when he got it, he was smashed with a tackle. There has been no space in that midfield. It will develop. Christian knows the game well. He knows that every game eventually gives him some space, and when they give him some space, you'll find out if he's able to create something there. So far, very, very little area to work with, but that won't spook him.
And they can't make anything from that throw either. Denmark. Tunisia have it back, and you can hear the Tunisian fans finding their voice. It's the red flags with the white circle and the crescent waving all around us as Denmark clear away at the back from Andreas Christensen. Tunisia bring the ball down on the edge of their own penalty area with Yassin Maria and clear the ball away upfield. Delaney wins the header for Denmark, sends it straight out of play. 14 minutes gone, and again it's all Tunisia.
It is all Tunisia. They're under a little bit of pressure there, but I like that back line they've got. They're comfortable on the ball, aren't they? You know, when I started playing from the back there, I thought, wait a minute, are you overdoing it? to be honest, it doesn't look like it now. They're confident in their ability, Maria being the most recent one to do it, but each of that back three there get the ball under a little bit of pressure. They are very calm so far.
And here is Talbi sending it all the way back to his goalkeeper Daman. Out to the right-hand side now as Tunisia will play it out from the back once again, but they've given it away for once on their right wing. Denmark's left. Dolberg, though, loses possession. It's cleared away. Højbjerg brings it down and sends it out to Christensen. Rasmus Christensen, and now Skov Olsen. 1-2 with Rasmus Christensen down to the byline. Block behind. And the decision is goal kick. Well defended by Tunisia. And their number 3, Talbi.
They love a tackle. They absolutely love a tackle. Talbi's come in there. He's got his hands behind his back there, but he's got his position and his timing absolutely right. There's been a deflection. He's got the goal kick, but they're celebrating goal kicks almost like a goal just now. They are so up for it. I don't think I've seen a team up for a game for a long, long time. Every tackle is celebrated. Every challenge, every closing down is celebrated. And goodness knows what they'll be like if they score a goal.
Good fit in over on the far side from Drager on Christian Eriksen. Denmark have a throw. Yes, this is Tunisia's 6th World Cup. They've never got out of the group stage before, but England fans listening to us will remember, of course, the opener at World Cup 2018 against England needed that very, very late added-time goal from Harry Kane to stop them getting a point against England. And so far, they've been the better side, clearly. Yeah. Against Denmark.
Again, it's very, very easy to say that, you know, and they have been the better side, and it's about keeping up that pace. Are they used to this pace? Are they used to be a really high pressing side, not just at the top, but the midfield getting really high and tight as well? You need to be able to keep on doing that. You can't switch off, because if you switch off with the likes of Eriksen around, Højbjerg as well, he can pick out a decent pass. They need to be able to do it for the entirety of the game, or at least until they get the lead.
So Tunisia in possession with Laidouni, who hasn't had too many opportunities to put in more crunching tackles that allow him to do that double fist pump to the crowd. Here he is though, Laidouni. Lovely piece of skill, plays the ball forward to the edge of the penalty area. The header is won by Kaya, and Christensen will shepherd it all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel, who drives the ball out. That's a brilliant ball from Schmeichel. Absolutely fantastic. Just arrowed it out to Skov Olsen on the right-hand side. But they've given the ball away again, Denmark. And this is the concern, I think, for the Danish fans. And we were talking about it in the build-up, weren't we, as Tunisia have it just outside their penalty area. The goals come from all around the team, but that's because they have to, because they don't have a star striker that's in really good form, either domestically for Denmark. Kasper Dolberg is the one playing through the middle in this match so far, but there isn't somebody that you could say, yes, they are the player that scores all the goals. Now, Denmark's answer to that is to say, well, we'll have more players scoring across the team than any other side in European qualifying for this World Cup. They found a way to do it at the Euros, but it is a potential weakness of this Danish side as Tunisia win a throw over on the far side, 0-0. The
argument against it, of course, is if you're totally reliant on that big scorer and that big scorer gets injured, then you've got a problem, you know. So there are a number of people that, you know, are not dissatisfied when that is the case, that you've players capable of scoring all over the pitch, as long as you're very tight at the back. And to be fair, the Danes are usually extremely tight at the back. By the way, still loving Laidouni. That little bit of skill you were talking about there, it was a nutmeg. He is absolutely loving it out there.
Yep, he is very much enjoying it, and so are Tunisia so far. 18 minutes gone, 0-0 with Denmark on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and across Africa on the BBC World Service. Denmark with the throw, just inside their own half. Rasmus Christensen of Leeds United will take and field to Delaney, back to Christensen. This, of course, such an experienced Denmark side. 7 of this lineup started that European Championship semi-final against England last summer.
And Denmark, one of them in Christian Eriksen would
have. Exactly. Tunisia concede the throw, but again it's roared by the fans around this stadium. Here with their Tunisia flags, every tackle, every chance to close down and take possession of Denmark, who do have the ball just outside their own penalty area, is being roared to the rafters. And now you hear the whistles as Denmark enjoy a bit of possession, but they won't be enjoying it too much because they're just knocking it around their own penalty area. And Tunisia stepping up with that high line as it goes back to Kjær, the Danish captain, And square now to Andreas Christensen, now of Barcelona, of course, formerly of Chelsea. And Kiar will send it forward once more to Højbjerg, who's dropped deep out to the left-hand side now. And Myler, who can be such a dangerous player down the left, as Denmark do now build the left ball into the area, looking for Dolberg. Good header away, and safe header behind on the follow-up from Ali Abdi. But that was better movement from Dolberg.
Yeah, that's the best piece of play from the Danes, maybe apart from the kick-off. Get there on the left-hand side there. Mele showed some pace there, real pace. That's the first chance he's had a go for the pace against the defender, and he knows now that for pure pace, he'll do him, he'll beat him, so he'll be wanting to get the ball as often as he possibly can.
So Christian Eriksen comes over to this near side to take the corner for Denmark. One hand raised in the air, and the ball drifted in. It's a good ball. The header is cleared away from inside the 6-yard box. It was Anderson up there, met it well, cleared away by Tunisia, but Eriksen has it back, sends the ball back in, cleared away once more by Tunisia out to this left-hand side, and their captain, Sakning. He's lost out though. Here goes Rasmus Christensen for Denmark. Gets past one, gets past two, can't get past the third white shirt, but the play has been called back for a free kick. Set piece to Denmark.
I think he's looking to get a yellow card there. That was a real obvious tug back of the shirt, and that would have infuriated the Tunisian fans, because they've been looking for yellow cards already for most of this game. But I think he's lucky there. However, free kick. Christian Eriksen once again standing over it. It's really wide, you know, but with the power and the height that the Danes have got, this is always going to be dangerous.
Yeah, you've got Skov Olsen there as an option too, but it's Christian Eriksen with that left arm in the air. Simon Kjær has gone forwards. He's being spoken to by the referee inside the penalty area. And now Eriksen will prepare to swing it in, right-footed. Another good delivery and another good touch over on that far side by Skiri. Sends it out for a Danish corner.
I'll see you're good and raise it to perfect. I think that's absolutely brilliant. That's almost undefendable, isn't it? He put it in between the defenders and the goalkeeper, but with such pace and such whip. At the far post, the only way the defender could get it away was almost deliberately mishit it to put it past for a corner kick. Brilliant piece of play, as we're used to from Christian Eriksen.
So Eriksen across to the other side now to take this corner. The left arm in the air once again. It's floated in, looking for Delaney, who wins the header back across goal. Tunisia clear it away. Skov Olsen's header back out to Eriksen on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Sends it in. Dolberg was there. Good interception. And Tunisia, though, scrambling. Anderson with the effort on target. Saved. Easy for Damen.
Yeah, the power wasn't there, but once again, you can just feel Eriksen's effect growing. Yes, set pieces, but when he got on the ball there, the quality of crosses, really, really spectacular from him. And I think it's coming down to that a little bit if they can keep Eriksen quiet.
Midway through the first half, Tunisia could be in here. Flag stays down. Huge opportunity this. Schmeichel trying to close the angle, but he can't. And Aysem Jabali cuts his celebration short, because now the flag goes off on the far side. Well, it was one of those where at first glance it did look off. They waited with the flag, and now we'll have to wait and see, but he's gone just a yard or so too early. Yeah,
and if you look at that line of the Danes there, it is right along the halfway line. They knew the line because they were all standing on the halfway line. He tried to give a little bit of an arc to his run. He tried, but he needed to give it a 2 or 3 yard arc. He only gave it a couple of inches. It always did look offside, but that's an excitement. That's a lift for them.
Here comes Denmark down the other end. Ball blocked out for a Danish throw. He's one of 2 players in the Tunisian starting lineup, Jabali, who actually play their domestic football in Denmark. He plays for Odense, and it's Ben Slimane, plays for Brøndby. Ben Slimane, in fact, a former Danish youth international, born in Denmark, grew up there, but decided to represent the country of his parents. And he's here playing against Denmark for Tunisia at the World Cup, where it's 0-0 on 5 Live BBC Sounds and across Africa on the BBC World Service, as Tunisia win another free kick. And I have to say, Denmark are not too impressed with the reaction of that, and Rasmus Christensen now even less impressed, because he's gone into the book for the challenge. Or has he gone into the book for the reaction, Pat? What do you think?
I think it could be the challenge, and it's our man Lie Dooney, who is, yes, he is lying down. I won't say lie down. There's nothing wrong with him. Absolutely nothing wrong with him. He's thrown himself around as if he's mortally wounded. Absolutely nothing wrong with him. Gets up again, and he's won himself. He's won himself a free kick, but he's also got Christensen on a yellow card already.
And that was the big cheer you heard inside the stadiums, because they announce it here to make sure that everybody knows. And yes, cheered once more by the Tunisian fans as Denmark clear the ball away, but they've given it away. Here is Msakni, well challenged by Rasmus Christensen, and the ball goes out for a Tunisia throw, 0-0.
We just, the referee's done really well so far. He's had to try and catch up in a lot of diving and throwing themselves about. I mean, it may well have been a free kick, but a yellow card is extremely harsh on Christensen there. Well, they have got a throw in, and it looks like he's got a long one. Yeah,
Ali Abdi, the left wing back, preparing to take this, and it is a long one, cleared away by Denmark from inside the penalty area, and Tunisia will pick it up once more with Laidouni. Swings it in right-footed, it's poor, it's blocked by Højbjerg on the edge of the penalty area, and cleared away by Denmark, who just try and play themselves out of trouble. But Joachim Andersen has played Andreas Christensen into trouble there, sends him all the way out to the left-hand side on the wide left. But Denmark do cope with the pressure well, but they are surrounded by those white shirts. They are having to work so hard just to get a bit of space outside their own penalty area. And it is the question, Pat, as Denmark come forward towards the halfway line, how long will Tunisia be able to keep this up for? But the answer we wait to see.
Well, they won't last 90, I'll tell you that right now. They'll have to adapt the game slightly, because they're doing there's a bit of stupid running in there as well. You shouldn't be doing that, you know. I know there's excitement levels, but they'll be a little bit more sensible now. They've tried to close down 100 mile an hour when you're not going to get the ball. But when you're not going to get it, you say, okay then, let's get ourselves into a shape. And they're doing that a little bit better now. So that's more sensible. But I do think they've expended quite a bit of unnecessary energy early on.
So Denmark in possession, over on the far side, as they look to build once more. Ball delivered in, Skov Olsen's in there. Oh, he just misses it with the header. The ball flew just over the leap of Andreas Skov Olsen and fizzes out of the Tunisian penalty area, cleared away by Laidouni, who does nothing whatsoever by half measures. So clear as he's booted that with such venom. I'm not sure where it's gone. It might have gone down one of the tunnels. We have the purple FIFA World Cup banner that is over one of the tunnels down there, but they've managed to find it. Denmark take the throw. In by Rasmus Christensen towards Skov Olsen, cleared away by Tunisia outside of the penalty area. Joachim Andersen will pick it up once again, back out to Rasmus Christensen, little deflection on the cross, and it's straight into the arms of Eamon Darman.
So we were talking before the game about captains, and sometimes they're really big, lively characters, and sometimes they're quiet one. I bet you Laidouni isn't quiet. Every single time is a fist bump for everything he does. The only time he didn't fist bump actually was he did a brilliant nutmeg. I think he prefers the tackling.
I think you could be right. Tunisia pick it up on the right hand side with Slimane, and will win the throw over on that far side as well. 0-0. This is the second of our World Cup commentaries for you today on 5 Live. The shock of the tournament, I want to say so far, but I'm not sure it'll be beaten. Saudi Arabia beating Argentina by 2-1 in our first commentary. A quite remarkable scoreline. And the games keep coming. Mexico against Poland follows this at 4 o'clock, and then France against Australia, 7 o'clock this evening. That's the second match in Denmark's and Tunisia's group this evening, as Denmark have a throw over on the far side. Goalless here on 5 Live, BBC Sounds and Africa across the BBC World Service. Here are Tunisia winning the ball back from that Danish throw, and they play it down the right-hand side once more. Here is Drager looking for the little run of Jebali, who tries to let it run for the on-rushing Ben Slimane. But unfortunately for Tunisia, breaks down, but they do have the throw. Still just inside the Denmark half. And again, Pat, we have to say, 28 minutes gone. They're still enjoying the better of it, although chances few and far between. And actually Denmark, apart from that offside goal from Tunisia, which was rightly ruled out, they've looked more dangerous inside the penalty area.
I would agree with that completely, but more control from the Danes.
And they're coming forward again, little back heel looking for the run of Rasmus Christensen. He's really getting forward well, the right wing back of Denmark and Leeds, but Tunisia do manage to clear away. Here's Christensen though, advanced position on the right hand side. Delaney played it forward, Christensen let it run, Scott Olsen won't trap it, and Tunisia have the throw.
If a lot of us will have watched the game last night with the USA, you know, you watch them for the first 45 minutes going at 100 miles an hour, and you're thinking, you better get well ahead because you're going to feel that. But the big thing is you've got substitutions, and if you've got good depth of quality all the way through, you can make a whole bunch of substitutions, and that might help you. And time's gone by. The other thing that's not going to help you, I mean, the heat sometimes here will make a difference, but I don't think today because of the aircon in the stadium. But the other thing that makes a difference, you know, it's going to be more than 90 minutes. You're actually getting longer and longer. These are longer games than you get in normal domestic games because, as you mentioned before, to me when we were chatting before, they are looking at every single second almost that has been wasted, inverted commas.
Denmark with a free kick just inside the Tunisia half. They go backwards. Yes, that's one of the reasons why we're seeing so much added time at this tournament, because, as Pat says, they don't want to see wasted stoppages. So normally, where you have the general unofficial rule that 30 seconds for a substitution, here they're really counting how many seconds everything takes. And partly we're seeing long stoppages for VAR or head injuries and the like, but that's why you're seeing quite a lot as the ball over the top. Andreas Skov Olsen brings it down inside the area. Very good covering challenge by Ali Abdi, gets the foot in. It's behind for a Denmark corner.
I mean, they've got two real dangers. The cross balls from Eriksson, with the power that you've got from Anderson, Kjær and Christensen coming up. But that pace that they've got in wide areas, they're not used to that well yet, but when they do get a ball put in behind defenders, the two wide players are lightning quick, and Skov Olsen there just flew by his defender.
So Eriksson with a chance to test Tunisia from a set-piece situation once again. He drifted in. It's another good ball. The header is one at the back post. It's cleared away by Drager, but not out of the penalty area yet. Now it is sent on by Ben Sliman. Cleared forwards by Mæhle for Denmark, who'd stay back on the halfway line, and Eriksson has it now, right-hand side, swings the ball into the penalty area, headed away powerfully by Maria, and Tunisia will try and break. They're still midway inside their own half, brought forward now by Laiduni, out to the left-hand side, and Msakni, the captain, nice little 1-2 with Shkiri. Now, lovely skill from Msakni, takes him over the halfway line, plays the ball forward, right-hand side of the penalty area. Covering challenge by Højbjerg is a good one. It's the Tunisia fans rather than the players who are appealing as Drager went down, and Denmark will play the ball away down the left-hand side, and now they can try and counter with Delaney, forward to Dolberg, over the halfway line, Delaney, forward, Eriksson, left-hand side, Skov Olsen trying to stay on side in the centre, back to Joachim Mæhle, who's popped up the left wing back at central midfield. Christensen, ball forward, this is nice from Denmark, they're to the edge of the penalty area, 0-0. As Skov Olsen plays the ball in, block behind, corner. That was probably, all in all, the best passage of the game.
Yeah, it has been. And to underline, it's 0-0, but it's a really good game of football. Really interesting, different styles. Technique is on show, is very, very good. Now, the Danes have done well. They've broken, but that little move beforehand, the little flick back, but yet again, that man Laiduni, the pace, he broke it, but also the little back flick pass that he made. And then Msakni comes on the ball, and he's brilliant on it as well. This has been a really good game, but every time, we're going to get a corner here from Eriksson, almost every single set piece so far, they have won the first ball, the Danes, but the second ball has been picked up by the Tunisian defence. Well,
they do the same again. Eriksson's ball in, they go near post this time, Kjær misses it, out to Højbjerg outside the penalty area, left-hand side, drives the shot in, and Darman is right behind it.
Yeah, goalkeeper very good there, it come through a whole bunch of bodies. It's bounced right in front of him. They're the ones that a lot of goalkeepers like to pat down. I don't think he had the opportunity to do that because of the amount of players behind it. But do you know, that's a much better save than it looks. It's right behind. He's only seen that at the very, very last second. So, well done, goalkeeper Darman.
And it is Darman in possession for Tunisia inside his own penalty area. 0-0 on 5 Live BBC Sounds and across Africa on the BBC World Service as the ball is played out to the left-hand side. Tunisia will pick it up. Miscued ball, though. Rare one from Talby and picked up by Højbjerg for Denmark. His ball across his paw, though, and will be picked up by Drager. He's been dispossessed by Mæhle with the blue boots down to the corner flag. Pulls it back to Thomas Delaney. It's Denmark just enjoying a little spell of possession. Couple of slight mistakes in the Tunisian back line. So far, they will be very pleased, and their manager Jalal Kadri, I think, will be delighted with how they've acquitted themselves in this first half. 0-0 with Denmark a side that many people feel can go deep into this tournament, having reached the finals of the Euros last summer. Denmark in possession, out to the left-hand side, and now central they go once more. Højbjerg back to Kjær, and the Danish captain will just pause outside the centre circle and send it back to Joachim Andersen. Is this patient from Denmark? Is that how you describe it?
It should be, because, you know, they've been put under pressure a lot. You know, make the opposition chase you for a little while. You know, they've expended a lot of energy. Let them keep on doing it.
Andersen's ball in, well claimed by Darman. Dangerous run coming in down that left-hand side from Delaney, but Darman watched it all the way.
He's noticeably not the tallest goalkeeper, you know, so they're trying to put a little bit of pressure on them. Oddly enough, I think what the Danes should probably start doing is, from corner kicks and free kicks, put the ball on top of him and attack him to find out if he's good under pressure.
Here comes Tunisia once more. Important interception by Kjær, and Denmark send it up to the halfway line, and Dolberg does well to hold on to it. Was fouled as he lost control of the ball, and Denmark will have a free kick on the halfway line. So 2 more games to come for you on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this evening. Mexico against Poland, followed by France against Australia. 4 matches tomorrow at the World Cup, including action for Germany, Spain and Belgium on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Rick Edwards with all the build-up from 5 Live Breakfast from Qatar from 6 AM. Denmark in possession, 0-0, 10 minutes to play until half-time. But as Pat Nevin says, it's been a good 0-0. It's been absorbing. It's been a tactical battle. So far, neither side able to make the breakthrough as Tunisia keep the ball just in on the byline and play their way out of trouble. The confidence with which they bring that ball out of defence is striking as they cross over the halfway line. They very, very rarely like to send it long. They want to play their way out, very similar to how Denmark do, as Denmark pick the ball up outside their own penalty area. Well, there is certainly a confidence about Tunisia, who, remember, have never got out of the group at a World Cup. This is their 6th edition, and their manager, Jalal Kadri, has actually said in the build-up to the tournament he will step down if they don't reach the last 16, when considering they're in a group with Denmark, France and Australia in there as well. Well, he's set his stall out, hasn't he? I
can see why he's confident. I absolutely can, with the group of players here. He's confident, but what he wants to do is pass that confidence on to the group. And, well, he's clearly done it. You know, they've got a lot of belief. They still haven't made that breakthrough yet, which gets more concerning as the game goes on.
Here comes Dolberg, lays it off to Andreas Skov Olsen, right-hand side of the penalty area. Oh, was he caught there? He went down, he stayed down. Pat Nevin shaking his head, and to be fair, Skov Olsen got up very quickly. And Tunisia again deal with the danger.
I think he tricked himself up there, Vicky. He got the ball. I mean, one thing about Skov Olsen, great pace. Not sure he's the best technical player with the ball at his feet all the time, but no, I think he got the ball caught under himself there.
Ball out to the right-hand side, and Jebeli for Tunisia up against Simon Kjær, and wins the corner as well. Yes, he does. Corner to Tunisia on the far side.
And it just shows you what this game's like. You know, it sits down one end and then fly up the other end. You get another corner kick. A chance for the Tunisians to get the ball in there. I mean, they've got some power as well from the corner kicks. You know, the 3 centre-backs are all going to come up now. And I love the way that they're really positive about it. You know, they're leaving one player back, but he's not in his halfway line. And they're putting, I think, almost all the players when this ball comes in, apart from 2, could be in this box. We shall see.
So corner to Tunisia on the right-hand side. 7 minutes plus added time to play in this first half. As the referee has stopped play once again. This must be a directive as well, that they are so hot on any sort of disagreement, particularly from set pieces in the penalty area. The corner is swung in from the right-hand side, almost connected with, and then is blazed over by Laidouni. It was Maria up there who got the initial contact, didn't really catch it well. Tell you what Laidouni did, I think it's still rising. I hope no fan was behind that, because goodness me, as he does with everything, 100% commitment, put his foot through it, but it's over the bar.
Yeah, I was just going to say he needs to calm down here, and then I noticed it was Laidouni. I thought, you've no chance. He's hyper. But yeah, he's everywhere. Honestly, sometimes you see a player and you're just drawn to him the entirety of the game, because there is so much energy. He's actually affecting every player around him. They're getting a lift from playing with him as well. I mean, he is the heart and soul of this Tunisian side right now. Again, ask the question, can he keep up? Well, he's kept it up until now, but there has been a little change. There's been a bit more control, hasn't there, from the Danish side? Yeah. 5 or 10 minutes, The game is, they want to play at their pace. They want to play their type of game. The Danes' game is a passing game, whereas the Tunisians, they want to break lines. Almost every player wants to break lines and run with the ball. And that is the joy of the World Cup for me. Two ultra opposite styles, even if they're playing the same system.
Denmark in possession all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. And again, we see that control from Denmark that they want to have. In possession, they are always comfortable, and now they will try and break that line with Rasmus Christensen, but it's a pull ball forwards. Maria can watch it behind, and it's a goal kick to Tunisia. 0-0 into the final 5 minutes at the end of this first half.
Yes, goalkeeper goes over and gives a fist bump to the back three. If you do anything this time, you get a fist bump. It's one of those.
Particularly defensively.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see if you get that if you score a goal.
And do you know what? And defenders will be sitting saying, yeah, we're a team in our own. We need to work together. We need to be close as a group. I mean, they're the three brothers back there. Well, the four brothers, because the goalkeeper's part of it as well.
Tunisia in possession. Jebeli almost loses it on halfway. Sliding challenge will win it back for Denmark. And here goes Højbjerg, and Denmark will try and break through here down this right-hand side with Skovholsen into the penalty area. Pulls the ball across. It's just in front of Højbjerg, who can't trap it 8 yards out. Højbjerg will pick it up now outside the penalty area. Left-hand side taking on Lajduni. Ooh, how strong is Lajduni there? Referee says no, that's fine. Højbjerg has gone down. The ball is in the hands of the Tunisia goalkeeper Dam, and now Højbjerg is off the pitch, still complaining. Thomas Delaney is down in the centre circle, so the referee will go over to see if Delaney's okay. That was off the ball, nobody involved in that it seemed, but Højbjerg up against Lajduni, what do we think?
I have to say, first time I thought he's just not been strong enough. Then you see it again, it was slow motion, I grant you. Lajduni's not won the ball there. He's certainly pushed Højbjerg, and there might have even been a little bit of foot in there as well. On another occasion, a very strong referee would look at that and consider it. I've not seen any signs around that tells me they're having a look at it. So it's not a clear and obvious error by the referee. So I think the Tunisians are going to get off for that one. But dare I say it, Lajduni, you've got to calm down just a wee bit, especially in your own box.
Delaney is back up to his feet for Denmark, and
that's a
we are
strange throw.
playing on. Yes, ball bowled out by Damen.
I know what's happened there. I know
yeah.
what's happened. He's tried to roll on the ground, then thought at the last moment, oh, I better not. There's a player too close to him. He's tried to grab it back, and it was straight up in the air. They've got away with it, but that's a worrying moment.
Yeah, awkward one for Maria as Tunisia come down the other end, slid into the penalty area. Little chip over Kasper Schmeichel, and little chip is wide. Gets a deflection. The corner is pointed to. Denmark are complaining. What a chance, though, for Jebeli. Another huge one. He's had one ruled out for offside. This one's gone behind for the corner.
I think he's onside, by the way. They're all complaining for it, but what a save it is by Schmeichel. It's an amazing save by him. He's 1-on-1, and his hands are up. I mean, he's done the classic patent as Schmeichel, doesn't matter what your name is type of save. You know, just the
starfish is out.
Yeah, the starfish is out. It's helped him. I wonder where he learned that.
Great save. His dad's, I'm sure, would be proud. Tunisia corner. Swung in, looking for Jebeli once again, and the effort from the edge of the box is lifted over by Shqiri with Schmeichel off his line. I tell you what, if that's on target, I'm not sure Schmeichel's getting that. It's over the bar. It's 0-0. But that's two big chances for Tunisia. One from both for Jebeli. The first ruled out rightly for offside. The second, a brilliant save from that cheeky little chip by Kasper Schmeichel.
Oh, we're seeing a whole bunch of saves here. Schmeichel almost, you wonder, went down a little bit too early. But it's that whole idea of just making your entire body big. His legs were wide, so he couldn't get it low beyond him. And his arms were just up, flailing. And he's got a big paw on it and put it over. And that might be the biggest moment of the game so far.
90 seconds to play in the first half, plus added time. So probably a lot more than 90 seconds, given how things have gone so far at the World Cup. But it's 0-0 on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and across Africa on the BBC World Service. Tunisia in possession. Abdi plays it forward. It's won by Andersen of Denmark, who wins the free kick, and the referee sprints across to make sure there's no afters. There was a little push there by Andersen on Issam Jebeli.
I think Jebeli's been really calm about that. There might have been a little bit of nudge there, but Anderson's getting really annoyed. Well, a little bit of a nudge. We'll take that back. Two hands right in his back, pushes him over. It's a bit harsh. It's just a free kick, but Anderson's very, very annoyed about it. I think Anderson might be a little bit miffed. Jabali's got away from him twice today. You know, really got away. The first time, yeah, offside, grant you that. Second time, we've seen one angle at it, and it's so tight, it's toenail stuff. Right, we're back into that sort of area. Jabali looks lively, and he looks calm when he gets in front of goal as well. And it only took that great save there from Schmeichel to stop him. So I think he's been super. What's going on here? I think Delaney's walking off.
Well, the ball is out. Yeah, Andreas Christensen has put the ball out of play. Denmark want to make a substitution. They're saying this is what we want to do. And the referee, to be fair, has spotted it. Delaney's now gone down. I mean, that's what he needs to do, is say, referee, I can't continue. And there's frustration, though, here between the Danish players with the Tunisians as well. I think Andreas Christensen is saying, look, I put the ball out because Delaney needs to go off. He's furious. He's so angry coming off here, Thomas Delaney. Of course, hugely frustrating, but he took that knock 5 minutes ago. Rasmus Christensen is coming over, giving him a big hug. But that communication, fortunately, I think the referee dealt with that well. But Tunisia there, to be fair to them, I don't think we're completely sure what Andreas Christensen had done, and we're preparing to take the throw. Didn't take it, and now they can make this change. Delaney can't continue. And it will be Mikkel Damsgaard of Brentford. He who, of course, scored that fabulous free kick in the semi-final against England to come on. Yeah,
there's 4 extra minutes are going to be played at the end of this game just now, and we're explaining that to the audience. To be fair, I think the referee was just a wee bit slow in the uptake there. I think everybody else knew what was going. Okay, he's got a lot of things on his mind there, but the Danish players knew what he was doing. There's no need for Delaney to go down, because he doesn't need to go down, because he's actually capable of walking perfectly well. Tiny little strain that he's got, so would have been a bit weird if they'd have carried on there.
So we are into added time at the end of this first half, and it is 0-0 between Denmark and Tunisia. Here is Skov Olsen down the right hand side. Has Christensen on the underlap, back in field now to Højbjerg, and now Eriksson. Lovely little layoff looking for Kasper Dolberg from Damsgaard, who's just come on, but Dolberg can't control, and Tunisia will clear away. Here is Anderson, though, to win the header for Denmark and play back to Simon Kjær, but Damsgaard of Brentford involved almost immediately. He's not kicked on in the same way that many people thought he would do after the Euros, as Denmark pick up possession once more outside their own penalty area. Had a really disrupted injury season with Sampdoria last season, has just made the one Premier League start so far for Brentford. Of course, still incredibly young, just 22 years old, but how they could do with him having another big tournament, Denmark, as he did at the Euros, as Denmark had the ball midway through their own half.
Another player going off injured, this time a knee injury, and I think it's a big focus when we look at this World Cup, how many players get soft tissue injuries, you know, because it's happened in the middle of a season. The games are going to be very, very tight together. I think it's going to be a big feature of this tournament. So you'll be looking at who wins it, being not only the best team, seriously the best squad.
Here come Denmark down the right-hand side with Skov Olsen. Sliding challenge, Denmark throw.
Yep. As I say, he's got pace, but I'm not sure how much of a trick he's got, to be fair, because he goes down there on the right-hand side, and when he gets to the byline, he doesn't seem to have a great new idea or a novel idea when he gets there.
Heavy challenge on Højbjerg there by Jabali, who has had one goal ruled out for Tunisia for offside, rightly so. One effort, little chip, brilliantly saved by Kasper Schmeichel. But this, good position this for Denmark, just about level with the edge of the penalty area, and it was a heavy challenge on Højbjerg.
Yeah, it was. By the way, I was trying to think of the name when I was talking about Skov Olsen there, and there was a Chelsea player a while back who played in the wing from that part of the world who was not dissimilar. Jesper Grønkjær, very similar type player.
Yes, brilliant at getting past players. It was just whether the delivery would be on point at the end of it.
I remember someone once nastily saying he's very dangerous when he gets to the byline, but only to the fans.
So free kick to Denmark. We've almost played the 4 minutes added on at the end of this first half. Still 0-0 between Denmark and Tunisia. Set pieces have been Denmark's most dangerous opportunities so far. Can they create something with Eriksson? Here it's another good delivery, and it's well defended aerially by Tunisia. Denmark corner.
Yep, great defending there. Again, the ball's perfect. You can't put it into a better area, and with pace. So he did do it in that area, and he's got another chance to do it again. as usual, the fist bumps were all over the place.
So Christian Eriksen from this near side with this corner, drifted in again. They look for Joachim Andersen at that edge of the 6-yard box, and this time Tunisia read it. They win the first header. It goes out for a Denmark throw, and they've just got wise to that now, haven't they, Tunisia? Because Denmark 9 times out of 10 have gone for that ball to Andersen to nod it back across, and I think that's the first time Tunisia have won it ahead of him.
And it was clever because he got one in back behind, one in front, and because he did that, he couldn't get any lift. Very, very frustrated, Andersen, because I think he expects to win every one of them.
And there we go, there is the half-time whistle, and Tunisia's fans around the Education City Stadium rise to applaud because, Pat Nevin, that has been a very, very good half for them. Yeah, they've had
a good number of chances, they've got themselves in a good positions. Certainly the one great save of the game so far, and it has been Kasper Schmeichel. I mean, he got out, it was 1-on-1. Jabali got himself into a phenomenal position, and he'll be gutted himself that he didn't score it, obviously, but I'd put that down as much as anything else. It's good goalkeeping, and most of the players that have caught the eye, apart from Christian Eriksen when he's had set pieces, I mean, his set piece play has been absolutely staggering, as usual today, but you're looking around the players that have impressed today. I've liked Abdi in the midfield, but the 3 defenders have been very good. You cannot take your eyes off Laidouni, because he is all over the place. I want a highlights clip of him, just of his history on it. It's nothing else more than that. This is an enticing game. This is an interesting game. This is a game I cannot wait for the second half, even though it's 0-0. And
we will bring that second half to you live, of course, to it on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and across Africa on the BBC World Service. Half time, Denmark 0, Tunisia 0.
It's a game, as how we previewed, Pat. Both are defensively strong and can have issues putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, the number of ways you can look at it and consider it. My favourite way to consider it is it's just a difference in the styles with two teams that are playing very similar systems. And you think, well, they could cancel each other out. Now, in terms of goals, they have done. But you watch the way Tunisians are playing. Now, I'm going to be slightly biased here. I like teams that get the ball and try and go past players and, you know, break lines in that way. The Danes are doing it in a kind of more modern kind of pass move way. So it's intriguing that way to see it. But at the moment, you know, the Danes, they don't really seem to have anyone who's endangered that goal in any way whatsoever. You don't get excited too much about it when they attack, other than the fact when they get free kicks and you know that you've got the big centre backs that are going to go, particularly Andersen, Kjær and Christensen. Then you get excited, especially if you've got, you know, a very good free kick taker in Eriksen, one of the best there is in the business, putting the ball in there and nailing it every single time. Whereas you look at Tunisia, you know, I think Jabali's got in twice. Once, yeah, it was offside, but the second time I'm not convinced it was offside. And that's worrying for, you know, because he's getting marked by 3 top quality centre backs, but he's still causing them problems.
Second half on the way with Pat and Vicky. Local television here in Doha couldn't get off that game quick enough to then show us. They couldn't though, Nadem, could they? To show us shots from inside the Saudi Arabia changing room at full time with the players celebrating their win over Argentina.
Yeah, you know, it's just a regular resort of the World Cup, isn't it? Yeah, you know, everyone beats Argentina. Nobody's coming here to see Messi, have they?
We will talk more about the first game of today and Saudi Arabia beating Argentina by 2-1 during half-time. 7 minutes to 5 here in Qatar. Dusk here, the sun setting. It is only 7 minutes to 2 back in the UK, and we'll take some lunchtime news from Jill McKenzie.
Take the World Cup with you. Qatar 2022
on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The holding centre in Kent for asylum seekers who cross the channel in small boats has been cleared. Thousands of migrants have been put in tents at the former military airfield at Manston, leading to overcrowding and outbreaks of disease. Home Office officials say everyone has now been moved to alternative accommodation. Sian Lewis is a lecturer specialising in international migration. She's glad the centre is empty, but is worried about the next steps.
If they end up spending months and months in hotels without their applications for asylum being processed, this isn't a solution at all. This is just creating other problems. It seems to me that a very practical solution to the problem is allowing all asylum seekers access to the labour market, and then they can also then have access to legally regulated accommodation.
A woman who was seriously injured in an arson attack in Nottingham at the weekend, which killed her 2 young children, has died. She's been identified as 28-year-old Fatoumata Haidara. She was taken to hospital on Sunday after the fire in Clifton. Police have been given extra time to question a 31-year-old man who's been arrested on suspicion of murder. Indonesia's National Disaster Agency says the number of people killed in an earthquake in West Java has reached nearly 270. Many of those killed and injured are children. Fewer than half of the dead have been identified. The Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, has told business leaders the UK must wean itself off immigration dependency. In a speech to the CBI conference, he said a Labour government would move the economy away from what he called a low-pay model. And new rules will allow MPs to claim the cost of their office Christmas party on parliamentary expenses. The Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority says members can claim back money spent on food, decorations and non-alcoholic drinks this year for an office festive event. The decision has been criticised by MPs from all sides.
For 7 decades,
Thousands of songs.
have soundtracked the lives of generations of us.
But there's only ever been
One official countdown.
Marking the 70th birthday of the UK's official singles chart.
We're playing the most streamed number ones.
from 1952
To 2022.
That's 7 playlists bursting with hits. Compiled by the official charts company exclusively for BBC Sounds. The UK's official most streamed songs.
To listen, open BBC Sounds, tap music.
And play most streamed chart. BBC 5 Live.
The FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022 with Mark Chapman.
We're in a period now of 4 games a day, so you can take the World Cup with you wherever you go with our coverage via BBC Sounds. Of course, we're here on 5 Live as well. Still to come later, Mexico against Poland, and then France against Australia. Second half of Denmark, Tunisia to come, which is goalless. But you would imagine that whatever happens in that 45 minutes in the next 2 games, nothing is going to match what happened in the first one. Argentina 1, Saudi Arabia 2. Now, Grace Note say that according to their stats, it's the biggest shock in World Cup history. To quote them, they say the most surprising World Cup win ever was USA's victory over England in 1950. That had a 9.5% chance of victory for the US team. Saudi Arabia's chance of victory today was estimated at 8.7%. So that takes over at number 1. Mohammed Kutub is a sports journalist who covers Saudi Arabian football and is in Doha, was at the match. Afternoon, Mohammed.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Are the Saudi Arabian fans still celebrating around the stadium, or have they finally dispersed?
Oh, absolutely. The whole of Doha today is going to be little Saudi Arabia, basically. All around, you can just hear Saudi songs, you can see Saudi flags, you can see Saudi fans just dancing up and down. They're not going to sleep tonight. This is going to be a sleepless night for Saudis. And some of them have moved to their own fan zone. They have a fan zone by the seaside. Some of them still are around the stadium, still celebrating. And they're not really bothered with whatever is happening around them. They're just going to spend the whole night partying and partying and partying, because this is a moment to party. This is a moment that will sit in their history as one of their proudest ever footballing moments at all. Throughout their history, there was never a moment when they had such a victory on such a prestigious level against such a prestigious team that was, before the game, dubbed as one of the strong favourites to be World Cup champions.
What will, even if they lose their next 2 and don't go through now, which by no means is a given. I mean, they're in a very good place to qualify. They have qualified for the knockout stages once before in 1994. I wonder what this one win will do for football in Saudi Arabia.
Well, football has been always big in Saudi Arabia. It didn't need this win to prove how important it is to Saudi people, to Saudi culture in general. But this is a big boost for this generation of Saudi footballers, this generation of people who run Saudi football. They've invested a lot in football over the last 5 or 6 years, keeping their veteran as a manager for the last 3 years has proven to be crucial, has paid off for Saudi fans and for everyone who runs the football in the country. And like you said, Mark, no matter what happens in the next couple of games, this is a given that this World Cup campaign will sit in as one of the best in Saudi's history. They've done more by qualifying to the second round in 1994, but there is no reason to just rule them off doing the same thing again this time in Doha. With this massive support they enjoy over here, with the atmosphere that feels just like home, there is no reason not to believe that Saudi Arabia can make it a bit further in this tournament than the previous campaigns.
We have a Saudi fan, Asim, next to Mohammed. Afternoon, Asim.
Afternoon.
Afternoon. The line's a little bit dodgy. I'll persevere and hopefully we'll hear you well enough. The atmosphere...
Asim lost his voice. This is the reason.
Oh, right, that's why. The line is fine. The voice is a problem. The atmosphere, probably, Asim, look the best of the World Cup so far.
Yeah, we couldn't believe our eyes as a Saudi fans. Actually, we are still don't believe that we made it, and we made it against Argentina. Everyone actually came to enjoy the match. Me, myself, I came just to watch a good game. I said, let's just play well and don't think about the result. But no, we are a big surprise. You can see the surprises here in the Sale Boulevard, where everyone is just walking and singing. Me, myself, seriously, I'm thinking to extend my time here in Doha. We are now thinking seriously about the next round, about round 2. Something was maybe unbelievable 90 minutes before the match, but now it's happening.
Are you here, Asim, for the whole of the group stage then? And how important do you think it is for Saudi Arabia and their fans that this World Cup is so close to their country?
So we consider the World Cup is in Saudi because Saudi and Qatar are very close to each other, similar culture, a lot of mutual interest between the two nations. So we are actually feeling that it's home. So replying to your question, I was looking for the first two matches. Now I want to watch Saudi against Mexico. I want to watch Saudi in round 2. So I think they will make it. It's not impossible anymore after we made it against Mexico.
A final question to you, Mohammed. You mentioned Hervé Renard, and I mean, his record with other countries, whether that be in the Africa Cup of Nations, where he's won it a couple of times, whether it be within the World Cup and what he does for nations, either getting to the World Cup or then when they're at the World Cup, will give Saudi Arabia real hope here.
Yeah, there is experience and there is the ability to prepare players for any scenario. Today, Saudi Arabia conceded a goal very early on the game against Argentina, led by Messi. You would expect a team like Saudi Arabia to collapse and accept even more goals. But what happened is completely opposite to what was expected. Hervé Renard prepared his team to conceding a goal, prepared his team to press the Argentines high, which was something that really intimidated the Argentine players. They did not expect Saudi Arabia to push ahead and just press them out. And they just outplayed Argentina for a good chunk of time in the second half. Scored a goal and didn't stay back. Scored the second one and didn't stay back. And then when they needed to defend, they just sat at the back and wished for the best. So the experience of Hervé Renard, his ability to motivate his players and defend his choices, this squad was massively criticized by so many of the Saudi fans, by so many of the Saudi press, but he's proven them wrong by astonishing display against one of the favourites to win this World Cup, actually.
Lovely to talk to you both. Thank you very much. Mohammed Kutub, a sports journalist who covers Saudi Arabian football, and we had next to him a Saudi fan from inside the ground earlier, Asim, and it finished Argentina 1, Saudi Arabia 2. And also in that group are Mexico and Poland. They play at, hang on, let me work this out, 4 o'clock UK time, 7 o'clock here in Doha. Matt Upson and John Murray will be your commentary team for that. So presumably, Matt, because John insists you get to the ground 6 hours before kickoff, you really sampled the atmosphere there.
I got the metro, Chuckers, and came a tiny bit later, which actually allows you to sample the stadium and the atmosphere a lot more. You have that long walk from the metro to the ground, and this stadium is something special. I don't think you're ever going to be inside a stadium that's partly made of shipping containers ever in my life again, and it's really cool, really interesting ground.
I haven't left much time to talk to you because both teams are coming out in the Denmark game, but very quickly, both Mexico and Poland will feel they have a real chance now because of what happened earlier.
Absolutely, I think both of them will be looking at it thinking, well, win today, we're right in business. And I think Mexico, really high energy, two contrasting styles as well, so I think it will make for a really good game.
Thank you very much, Matt. So John Murray and Matt Upson there for Mexico against Poland, and then your commentary team later for France and Australia, the big fella and the little fella, Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. Back to Vicky and Pat for the second half of Denmark-Tunisia.
Thanks, Mark. Yes, welcome back to Education City Stadium, where it is Tunisia who get us underway. 0-0 as we start this second half with Denmark. And Tunisia starting brightly with Drager down the right-hand side, plays the ball in, and it's headed behind by Anderson. And again, it was Issam Jebeli right on the corner of the 6-yard box, causing real problems for that Danish back line. And Tunisia, within the opening 19 seconds of the second half, have got a corner.
Yeah, his movement's superb. He had to get to the front post. He had to get in front of two defenders to get there, and he did. Now, he didn't connect well to it, but you're right, he's worrying the life out of those two players. And by the way, they are top quality centre-backs of from some of the best European clubs.
Tunisia with the corner, it's sent in low, and the little back heel was attempted on the edge of the 6-yard box by the captain, Maksani. But unfortunately for him, it doesn't quite come off. But those little tricks and flicks, we've seen them, haven't we, Pat? And they're not done for no purpose. When Maksani does it, and when Laidouni, who we've seen do it as Tunisia build forward through the midfield, they do it for a reason. It's intelligent play. Where they choose to do it is intelligent, and that wasn't a bad effort from Maksani.
But that ability to do something slightly different, to out of the ordinary, that could be the thing that wins the game, because watch the Danes, they do the right thing all the time, and sometimes the similar thing all the time. And maybe that's the thing. If you've not got Christian Eriksen, it can be a bit samey for the Danish side. They need, a little bit of something else, someone who's sitting outside the box or thinking outside the box. Not been quite enough of that, but good organisation, good structure, good free kicks. That can get you a long way.
So Denmark in possession, just outside the centre circle. Here is Joachim Mæhle, who's one player he's so dangerous coming down that left-hand side for Denmark, and it'll be interesting to see if they can just get him forward on more occasions in this second half. So all the way back with Kasper Schmeichel, and we can run you through the teams. Denmark making that enforced change in the first half. Delaney off injured, so Damsgaard of Brentford on. So they line up with Schmeichel in goal. The back three of Andersen, Kjær, the captain, and Christensen, Andreas. Rasmus Christensen, Højbjerg, Eriksen, Damsgaard and Mæhle in the midfield, and Dolberg and Skov Olsen up top as Denmark pick up possession still just inside their own half with Christian Eriksen. And again, the Danes very happy just to knock it around between themselves. So no changes as yet for Tunisia, who have a bit of defending to do. The header one away as Denmark look to build down the right-hand side. And now infield to Højbjerg. And back to the halfway line, and Simon Kjær, and now Christensen forward as Denmark go forward patiently inside the Tunisian half. Little 1-2 over on that left-hand side with Damsgaard and Mæhle. Drager goes down, and the referee says that is a free kick. And it will be a free kick to Tunisia, who have Dahmen in goal. The back three of Talbi, Bron and Maria. Ahead of them, it's Drager, Laidouni, Shqiri and Abdi, with Ben Slimane, Msakni and Jebeli up front.
And Jebeli's getting more and more involved, hasn't he? Just at the end of the first half, he's certainly getting livelier. He's got real belief in himself. His movement is intelligent for a striker. He's not getting a lot of help up front a lot of the time, but he certainly doesn't seem to need it. He's not that tall, but he's, he does all the right things, and his movement's good.
Here comes Denmark playing in all reds from right to left, dispossessed outside the penalty area, but will be picked up by Kasper Dolberg. But Laidouni is there to just steal it off his toes, and Tunisia all in whites come forward. Kjær steps up and wins that well for Denmark, but he's out of position as Laidouni puts his foot through it once again. It just bounces all the way through to Andreas Christensen, but Pat's talked about it so much in the first half. You cannot take your eyes off this man in midfield for Tunisia. Wherever he is, there is action.
He just doesn't play football the way normal pros play. You know, when he makes a tackle, he has to kick the ball. He will lash it with every bit of power he's got. He will make massive tackles. He will be everywhere all over the field. I mean, I know where he's ostensibly playing, but I've not got a clue where he's really playing, because he's everywhere. And but he's got skills as well. He's not just an idiot running about there. He really has been, by a million miles, the most eye-catching player on that field today. And he's actually had half a chance himself as well. So we shall see. If this does end up a draw, my money's on him getting man of the match by a mile.
Here is Myler as Denmark look to make the scoreline no longer level, looking for this breakthrough. Damsgaard under good pressure from Skiri, gets the foot in but can't win the ball. Myler will send it centrally to Skov Olsen just outside the penalty area, out to the right hand side, and Rasmus Christensen now does get the ball across. Tunisia get the foot in though. They've given the ball away and Denmark have it once more with Skov Olsen, well intercepted by Laiduni, who will bring it forward, and the little 1-2 over the halfway line come Tunisia. Chance here, Schmeichel having to hold his ground, and it was the wrong decision in the end. Schmeichel not called into action. Myler fantastically getting back to block Laiduni as he burst into the penalty area, and the ball is behind for a Tunisia corner. Well, if there's one man you think could be at the centre of the fireworks, we've said, it's Laiduni.
Do you know what?
I think he saw his name in lights there.
The referees had to help him up. He's been down for about 10 seconds. What's wrong with you, mate? You've just run constantly and ran 70 yards at full pelt. They've taken the corner.
They've taken it short, they've taken it quickly. It almost caught the camera out as well as the ball is driven in, blocked behind by Damsgaard. Another corner. Yes, it is the camera that hangs above the stadium, midway between the stadium roof and the pitch, and it had to zoom up very quickly, didn't it? Because they took the corner short, and they've won one. There's on this other side as well.
There's another point about Laiduni. He's gone away there and he had 2 or 3 yards. It's a 70-yard run, so it's kind of hard to stay ahead. But he's wasted a bit of energy in the first half when some unnecessary running. Had he not done that, they might not have caught him, and he might have been 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. They only needed another 10 yards, but you can't help loving him for the way he's playing.
So corner from Ben Sliman for Tunisia. It's poor, but it's poorly cleared away by Denmark. Rasmus Christensen and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg both went for it. In between them, they've cleared it out straight for another corner.
That was one from the training ground, except lack of concentration. They hadn't got in front. It was supposed to be short and low, but the two forwards didn't go for it.
Ben Sliman this time will drift it in, and the header is towards goal, away by Dolberg for Denmark. In by Skiri, second attempt is deflected over, another corner for Tunisia. It was the centre half, Dylan Bron, back up on the edge of the penalty area, and he sends it behind, and again you can hear the noise from the stands around us. The red flags with the crescents are waving once again, because the Tunisia fans, who far outnumber the Denmark fans inside the stadium, I would say as we look around, the waving flags, the fans bouncing, is about 80% fans here supporting Tunisia, and their side at 0-0 with Denmark, 7 minutes gone in this second half, are on top. Third corner in quick succession, this time from the left-hand side. This time it's met by Christensen for Denmark and cleared away, picked up by Ali Abdi for Tunisia as they look to build down the left-hand side. Rasmus Christensen gets the foot in again, but Tunisia will pick it up once more, and they have it on the halfway line and send it all the way back to Hyman Daman.
It's interesting, I was going to say they're shooting into their own fans, but their own fans are everywhere at the moment, but their loudest group are down to our right-hand side behind that goal, and that seems to have given the Tunisians that extra little lift at the start of this second half. They're by a distance the better side, you've got to say it, and although the Danes held the ball, they've been a wee bit disappointing because of the lack of imagination. They've played it slowly, and you asked the question, is it patient? Yeah, it's patient, but it's the World Cup, you've got to try and give it everything you've got.
Ball over the top, looking to send Tunisia in, and it's all the way through to Schmeichel. Now, Joachim Andersen was stretching for that. It's one of those where he gets a touch on that. Schmeichel's in trouble there because it could send him right past him, but fortunately for Denmark, he didn't. And Schmeichel can clear with one of those precise passes, sending up to the halfway line for Denmark as the ball is drifted in, but it's poor and chested back well by Mohamed Drager, and Daman will collect easily.
Well, here's a question to you then. The ball's played in there, Drager, he's got a little bit of pressure then. that little chest ball back he played there, he's basically passed it back with his chest. I can't see any of the Danish players doing anything like that. They just do everything straight by the book, and it's as I say, it's a little bit dull, but there's imagination in this Tunisian side, and you don't quite fall in love with them, but you think, I'm kind of on your side a wee bit, because they've got that tenacity, they've got that imagination, they've got that willingness to do everything, because it clearly means the world to them, this World Cup.
Here is Højbjerg, plays it up to the halfway line, and Rasmus Christensen out to the right-hand side as Denmark look to build once more. Christensen on the inside, plays it through, flag stays down, Damsgaard sends it across, save is made, Meyler, excellent block, it's in at the third attempt, but the flag goes up now on the far side. Andreas Skov Olsen's celebrations are cut short. And again, Pat, it's one of those where initially it does look offside.
By a mile.
And it is. Well, not quite a mile, but at least a good 2 or 3 yards.
A complete joke. I mean, it's one of those ones, I know you need to keep on going, you need to commentate. The players have to go and keep on playing. We all need to pretend it's actually real. There is no way in the world that was real. That was the most obvious offside. And it's one of those ones where I think it was much, much closer, the offside one early in the game, that the Tunisians had, but that one was one of those ones where, oh, do we have to keep on playing? And they did. The ball landed up in the net, but even the Danes didn't celebrate that one.
So Denmark in possession with Joachim Andersen midway through his own half. 0-0 here on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and across Africa on the BBC World Service. Here is Simon Kjær in possession as Denmark just knock it around inside their own half. A reminder, 2 more games to come for you from the World Cup today. Mexico against Poland at 4 o'clock with John Murray and Matt Upson, and then France against Australia. That's the second match in Group D, Denmark and Tunisia's group, with Ali Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. Ball forward to Mikkel Damsgaard. It's missed by Christian Eriksen. Damsgaard comes back and gets a foot in, and it's all the way back with Simon Kjær. And ball forward now, looking for Joachim Meyler. Tries to bring it down inside the penalty area. Won't do so. Will try and keep it in, and has done so down by the byline. And Denmark looking to build once more down this left-hand side. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg will send it out to the left-hand side once more, and Joachim Meyler. Damsgaard plays the ball across, and the header just across the face of goal for Denmark from Dolberg, and cleared away. Another big opportunity for Kasper Dolberg. He just slips there. Andreas Skov Olsen on the far side of the penalty area, and Tunisia will clear it away. But I say another big opportunity. He's got himself into good positions and has had the chance to maybe get onto things. That's the first time he's actually made contact in that position, and he's flicked the header wide of that far post as Denmark have it. But they unlocked the Tunisian defence there.
Yeah, they did. They've not done it very often, but that time they did. You see, there was a chance earlier on in the game that we flashed across, and you know, a classic centre forward just comes in and nods it in. But they weren't even close to it. They hadn't gambled. They hadn't taken the chance. So you know, they know what they need to do. The Danish side, you know, they need to get into those positions a little bit more often. You just get the feeling if it's going to happen for the Danes, it's going to be, you know, Christian Eriksen gets a free kick 25 yards out, and is either going to find a player or ping it into the top corner himself. It's going to be about Christian if he gets the ball in a good area.
Ball is charged down by Drager for Tunisia, but it will bounce all the way back through to Kasper Schmeichel, and 12 minutes gone in this second half. We are still 0-0 between Denmark, a side that many people, after they reached the European Championship semi-finals, of course, without Christian Eriksen last summer, thought could go deep into this tournament. Early on, they're being held by a Tunisia side who have been better than they have this afternoon. And it's a Tunisia side as well. They've never got out of the group stages at a World Cup, but that's historic. In terms of qualifying for this World Cup, they only edged past Mali in the final round of the African qualifiers. It was a 2-legged playoff. They won 1-0. So it was there by the skin of your teeth for Tunisia.
It's always, with the African qualification, it's always very interesting anyway, because, you know, teams come and go in strengths extraordinarily, you know. Piece of thing with Cameroon, with a big nation, you know, Ghana have been great times. I mean, recently Comoros have been fantastic, you know, so, you know, it does ebb and flow hugely, and if you get out of the groups in Africa, basically you've done well.
Well, it was Denmark talking about momentum coming into this tournament as the Olays from the Tunisia fans as their side pass it around on the halfway line. That's brilliant. That's the first time we've heard the Olays and they're just still inside their own half. Yes, they are keeping possession. There's been plenty for them to smile about, and at the moment it's Tunisia with all the momentum in this match, and Shaqiri has won it on the halfway line and will see his side win the free kick as well. Joachim Andersen of Crystal Palace stepping up, conceding the foul, and Tunisia will bring it down the left-hand side. 0-0, and still Tunisia enjoying the bulk of possession.
Do you know what? They'll hate this, the Danes, because this hasn't happened to them in the game. They've been second best, I would argue, maybe 60-40, not much in it. But they haven't been passed around like this. They'll get really quite frustrated, and maybe that's a really good play for the Tunisians to do this instead of always trying to get the ball and always trying to get forward quickly. The thing is, I don't know if they can pass it with that much patience, because I don't think they've got enough players with that much patience.
Here goes Damsgaard, sends the ball out to the right-hand side as Denmark look to build. Here is Rasmus Christensen, surrounded by white shirts, but does get the ball out once more into a wide position as it's swung in, well headed away, headed behind by Maria, and it will be a Denmark corner.
That's a better crosser. He's put it into a dangerous area. He didn't even look there, he just gets the ball onto his left foot. He looks a lot more comfortable when he's putting the crosses in with his left foot, Skov Olsen. It was a dangerous area, but they've stood tall. Those three centre-backs have stood very, very tall. And I couldn't choose between the three of them. All three have been, like, as I say, three brothers in there.
Yeah, Maria, Bron and Talby certainly doing their jobs, and they'll be called upon here again because Denmark have this set piece. Christian Eriksen drifted into the edge of the 6-yard box. Tunisia win the first contact, and Sakni, their captain, will pick it up as they look to counter. It's blocked by the returning Simon Kjaer as he jogs back inside his own half, which just takes the momentum out of that Tunisian foray forward, and Denmark do well to win it back over on the far side.
How did Andersen get away with that? He was grabbing him, he was over the top of him, he was pulling him back, then gets the ball. I thought that was an absolute stick on a free kick there, and the referee let it go.
And he did let it go, and Denmark in possession over on that far side. Goalless here on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and across Africa on the World Service. Here comes Denmark though. Nice passing move. Rasmus Christensen though is dispossessed by Laidouni, and Tunisia will come forward once more. Turning under pressure is Ben Slimane, who sends it back to that Tunisian back line, and again so comfortable, so connected between them. There's a real understanding in terms of their movements, their formation, where everybody needs to be, although Elise Shaqiri just takes his eye off the ball there. Luckily no red shirt near him, runs under his foot, but Tunisia will build again down this right-hand side. Header won by Meiler for Denmark, out for a Tunisia throw midway through the Denmark half. 0-0, 17 minutes gone in the second half.
Well, they've changed it slightly, the Tunisians. They are a bit closer to a 4 at the back now. I mean, quite often Skiri is coming back from the centre midfield position to make it a 3 now and again. They've kind of slightly adapted it, as if to say, actually, we can do this. We can really push on, and it's again, you just applaud them for it, and it's given them a little bit more help in the midfield, and they can break a little bit more with those numbers in there. But just a little bit more like a back 4, Matt.
Yeah, good spot, Pat, as Tunisia have a threat. It's Dylan Bron who's come out to the right-hand side. Now, he can play at right back as well as centre-half, and that is their usual formation. There are 4 at the back side. They've gone with the 3 in the first half to match up with Denmark, but as you say, it shows the confidence that they have in this game now as Dolberg is dispossessed. Referee says no free kick. Christian Eriksen's complaining. Dolberg is very slowly getting to his feet, but it's just not happening for Kasper Dolberg at the moment. And again, we go back to that question for Denmark. They scored goals in the World Cup qualifiers for the European sides. No side scored more goals from different players. 18 players scored. They can do it, Denmark. It's a key strength that goals come from around the pitch. But in a game like this, where you just need your number 9 or number 12, as Dolberg is, to pop up and do something in the same way that Jabali has been doing for Tunisia at the other end, you still have to consider whether Denmark have that player that can do that. And we're not talking at that point about Christian Eriksen.
Yeah, exactly, and that is, so it's been the problem. That is the problem, there's no doubt about that. But they're going to make, I was going to say they're going to make a change. They're going to make a bunch of changes now, the Danish side, and I think that's because I think they've looked at what's happening in the game. I think they've looked at the confidence and belief of their opponents, and they've seen the changes that have been made and thought, well, wait a minute, if we don't adapt to this, we could be in trouble. And that's exactly what they're doing.
And here is this triple change. One of the players coming on is a forward, Andreas Cornelius, but the first change being made is Matthias Jensen of Brentford. He is replacing Simon Kjær, the captain. So on comes Andreas Cornelius as well, and Kasper Dolberg is coming off. We've just been saying it's not been his night. And Jesper Lindstrom, one of those who wasn't part of the Euro 2020 squad, is on for Andreas Skov Olsen. So let's see what Denmark do here. Kjær doesn't look as though there's any sort of injury there, certainly visibly, that we can see. He's going high-fiving, or low-fiving, we should say, all the Danish substitutes. So what will Denmark do here in terms of formation? Will they, and it looks as though they've gone to the back four as well. So you've got Meyler's come out to left back rather than a wing back. Christensen's out on the right back position. That's where he plays for Leeds regularly. And then you've got Andersen and Andreas Christensen in the centre. So Denmark forced to respond to Tunisia.
They have responded and they've just matched up. So that's almost well done, Tunisia. You've actually taken a hold of it. Oddly enough, that might give Denmark certainly an opportunity to again get a little bit more forward thinking. You know, if you're playing with a back three as they were, it's absolutely vital that the players that are playing wide are, you know, the wing backs, they are the most crucial players in the team. They weren't having any great effect in the first half. Meyler really early on had one flying run down the wing, but really very little after that. And Christensen had no impact whatsoever. So you know, maybe that's they're saying it's not working with the five, go to a back four and just match up with the opposition again.
So will that give Denmark some not much needed impetus in this match? Because 20 minutes gone in this second half on 5 Live, BBC Sounds and across Africa on the World Service. It's 0-0 with Tunisia. Denmark building down the right hand side. Here is Christian Eriksen, almost dispossessed, but will fall to Jesper Lindstrom over on that far side, cleared away by Tunisia. Lindstrom making his major tournament debut for Denmark. Plays for Eintracht Frankfurt, versatile attacking player. Was voted the Bundesliga Rookie of the Year last season as well. That's given to the best young player in their debut season in the Bundesliga. So hoping to add a bit of attacking impetus. So we've had the 3 changes for Denmark. Remember the enforced one as well for Thomas Delaney in the first half. And Tunisia are responding by making a change as well. And Anis Ben Slimane is being replaced by Naeem Sliti.
Yeah, I mean, he's run hard. He's not has as big an impact in the game as a number of other players, but certainly Slimane, he's worked very, very hard, and you expect the changes to start really coming in around about this time because of the work rate that they've put in. And in fact, all the players in both teams have put in. It's just looked a little bit more obvious from the Tunisians. Chance of a break now for Denmark, though. As
they build down the right-hand side, very good sliding, covering challenge by Montessar Talbi. And the ball goes out of play for a throw to Denmark. So, yeah, second World Cup for Naeem Sliti, the 30-year-old. Played at the World Cup back in 2018. And did score in their final friendly win against Iran last week from the penalty spot. Tunisia, with that one defeat in their last 9 games, that was the thumping by Brazil. But level with Denmark, and they will feel that really on the balance of play and the couple of very good chances that they've had, particularly that one for Jebeli, which was brilliantly saved by Kasper Schmeichel. They could be ahead, and they're coming forward now. Ball forward through, won't quite run for Jebeli, and Schmeichel is out well to gather on the edge of his 6-yard box. 0-0.
You've seen what he's trying to do there, but there's a wee bit of tiredness. In every game you ever watch, almost, there comes a moment, and it's almost like a click of fingers. The game opens and gaps appear. It's happened. You can just see it now, and because players are tiring, those gaps, which, and they might only be 3 or 4 yards, but if you're playing down there, they feel like a lot of distance, because good players, and you can see it now already for the Danes.
Here they come, Denmark, to the penalty area. The shot driven in is brilliantly saved by Darman. Oh, Christian Eriksen saw it open up there. He's taken the armband after Kjær's gone off. He's come close for Denmark, and we haven't said that on too many occasions in this match.
Yeah, but my previous sentence, look, you could see it happening right there and then. This game just opened, and see what happens when good players, they A, see it, and B, realise where the gaps are, and they find them. And within seconds, who do you expect to find there? And it is the top man. It's a brilliant piece of play there, unlucky not to score.
So he's over to the far side now to take the corner, Christian Eriksen, from the right-hand side. The Tunisia fans all around the stadium with the jeers and the whistles as Eriksen drifts it into the edge of the 6-yard box. Andreas Christensen's up there. Oh, and it's off the post. It's cleared away by Tunisia, driven back in by Denmark. Tunisia at the second attempt with Shqiri should clear it, and they do, and Tunisia are off on the counter down the left-hand side, but it's well covered by Damsgaard and sends it back to Schmeichel. How close was that for Denmark and Andreas Cornelius?
Yeah, well, I thought it was going on. I thought it was a stick on to go in there. It's a play that they've played all day, and I cannot believe he's not headed it. He's missed it. It's bounced in front of the post, and I think he's got his eye on the post. Because he's got his eye on the post, he doesn't header it, and that's a dreadful miss. That is an awful miss, especially for someone who's considered himself a bit of a striker in Cornelius.
Tunisia coming forward down the left-hand side as the game continues to open up into the penalty area. They go. Rasmus Christensen's going one way and then the other. They're screaming for handball. And the referee is saying corner rather than penalty. Ali Abdi's going across to protest. It was he with the loudest protest. And now you can hear the Tunisia fans behind the goal as well. We've got VAR, of course, they'll look at it. And the white shirts now are surrounding the referee, Cesar Ramos.
It would be grotesquely harsh. Because there was no effort. I mean, they was chasing the ball. He didn't expect the tackle. The ball was then popped up upwards towards his hand. I think that would be incredibly harsh for the referee to give a penalty kick for that one, and I don't think he's going to give it.
Yep, he's saying get on with it, get on with the corner, and Tunisia will have to do so. We'll go back to Andreas Cornelius in a second, because goodness me. But Tunisia with this corner, 0-0 somehow still after that chance for Denmark. And the referee again.
Both teams have had good chances now, very good chances now, and it's 0-0, but it is one of the better 0-0s.
So corner for Tunisia from the right-hand side. It's deep. There wasn't too much of a connection in there in the 6-yard box, and it does go behind for a Denmark goal kick. But again, that was half a chance for Tunisia. If they could have made contact in that 6-yard box, the movement was decent, and it was just over the head of Msakni, the captain, and bounces behind for a goal kick. Right.
They don't actually look as if they're going to go for a corner kick because of the physical prowess that the Danes have got, but that miss, honestly, I mean, it's the most obvious one. I'm talking about the most obvious looking goal scoring opportunities you're going to get. Corner kick, back post. They've been winning the first header the vast majority of the time. They do so. They head it down, and all he needs to go in is he's right at the back post. It bounces in front of him. Just stick your head on it, and it's in. It's easy. And he honestly, he's thinking about the back post. We're seeing a replay again here. Great ball in. He's actually looking at the back post, and he doesn't go and attack it. He said he doesn't see it late. That's not the problem. He's completely and utterly missed it. Back post and a little bit of Maria, who's coming in to tackle him as well. But you should still score there.
Here you go, Tunisia down the right-hand side with Jebeli. Well left by Højbjerg, and it's out for a Denmark throw. The frustration for Denmark will be, it was a great header won initially by Andreas Christensen. Did exactly what he should do, sent it back in, looked as though it might be creeping in, and Cornelius just cannot get the contact he wants, and it's onto the post. And again, what were we saying 5 minutes before that? Yes, you can have goals from all around the pitch if they're not from your strikers, but that is where having a striker that can come off the bench and pop in a chance like that, it's invaluable in a group stage where you've got France, the reigning world champions, to come in your next match for Denmark. Then you've got Australia. You've only got 3 games as Tunisia break into the penalty area, but Jebeli won't reach that, and Schmeichel gathers it.
The problem with Jebeli just now, his movement has been brilliant, and he's kept on doing it. He's actually run himself out. He's now running about 70% of the pace. His sprints haven't got the spark about him just now. He still looks as if he's the most likely player to score a goal, but the balls will be played into areas, and he's not getting there now because he's just ran himself into the ground.
0-0 into the final 16 minutes plus added time. Here on 5 Live, BBC Sounds and across Africa on the BBC World Service. Here are Denmark in possession. Mexico against Poland to come. That's 4 o'clock UK time. And then France, Australia, 7 o'clock UK time after our first game of the day. One of the biggest shocks, not just of this tournament, but of World Cup history. Saudi Arabia beating Argentina. Tunisia win the throw. Out to the right-hand side they go. It's a poor ball. It's Slitty, the substitute, who plays it straight to Mikkel Damsgaard on this left-hand side, and Denmark win the throw as well.
What a shame there, because he got himself in a very, very good position. The Tunisians, they won the ball back, put a little bit of pressure on Kasper Schmeichel. They were actually slightly overconfident in the play. You know, they'd playing a little bit of a no-look pass there. Well, it helps when you do actually look, you see where your position your player, your teammate is, but once again gives the Danes a chance to attack.
Joachim Meyler's ball into the penalty area. Here is Cornelius, plays the ball back across, cleared away by Tunisia just about. Denmark will try and send it back in. Talbi, who made the clearance, is limping. It's continuing going for now, and Tunisia send it up towards the halfway line, and it's trapped by Jebeli, who tries to send it out to the left-hand side, and Laiduni, who come forward. But Denmark intercept, and we said this right at the start, didn't we, Pat? Hell for leather. Have Tunisia gone as we enter the final 15 minutes. It's not just Jebeli who's running out of steam.
And the fact is, they're still actually trying to go at 100 mile an hour. It's just that they haven't got the juice to be able to do it. And I mean, you love them for trying it.
And this is where Denmark will try and pull them apart. Mathias Jensen, ball forward, block, spins out to Meyler, left-hand side, just outside the box. Back to Jensen, just inside the penalty area, drives the shot in. It bounces behind and will be a Tunisia goal kick. But notable there, I mean, we've seen so few shots from that sort of area from Denmark, haven't we?
Well, there hasn't been a lot of space for them. I mean, they've been close down the midfield, and you've got to say, Skiri, he's brilliant at that. You know, he just sits in front of the back three as it was before, back four as it is just now. And he's one of those players who knows when to just slip into the defensive line and be another defender, and also when he needs to kill the space. Well, they've been a bit overconfident in playing out, but they've got away with it.
You know, they've done really well with that, Tunisia. In fact, they've given it away just on the halfway line, but 4 balls before that, had they given it away, would have been very dangerous. But Denmark coming forward could still be dangerous here. Ball into the area, looking for Andreas Cornelius, cleared away by Tunisia. Laiduni will send it out to the captain, Maksani, over on the halfway line, who will send it over the halfway line, but it's collected by Anderson of Crystal Palace and all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel.
Just a moment ago, that was a half chance there. The ball played through yet again. It's the man that you expect in the later part of the game to actually get the ball and find those space. Christian Eriksen played the little slip ball through. They didn't make the best of it. He is picking up that space time and time again now, which he wasn't able to do before. It's because there's tired players.
Ball over the top, Denmark won't reach it. Lindstrom is up there, and it's caught by Dahlmann. We've just had the official attendance announced, which is just under 43,000. It's like with the added time, we are seeing a bit of a theme here. All the attendances announced in the stadium are over the official capacities for the stadium. So, well, it's not my job to work out how they do the maths. 0-0 is the most important statistic here on 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and across Africa on the World Service as Tunisia win a free kick. Slitty, the substitute, going down on the halfway line. At this point, if you're Denmark and if you're Tunisia, what is your approach to the final 12 minutes or so, knowing that both of them still have France and Australia to come in this group?
Right, both of them believe that they can beat Australia, right? They both believe that. I'm not saying it's the case, but they absolutely both believe that. France is going to be a tricky one. I don't think you take a chance. I think you keep on going for it. I don't think it's a draw's a particularly good result for either.
Ball into the penalty area. Jebali will lay it off. It won't find a white shirt. It will. Christian Eriksen can't pick it up. It is cleared though by Tunisia inadvertently towards the halfway line and straight to Andreas Cornelius, who does well there and wins the free kick. Incidentally, Mathias Jensen of Brentford just booked there for that earlier foul on Naheem Slitty. And we're back and underway. Poor ball though out to Christensen from Joachim Andersen. And we have to say, with all the excitement, with all the anticipation around Denmark at this tournament from a footballing sense, they have not lived up in this opening game to expectation.
No, they've been second best, and by some, I wouldn't say by some distance, but they've been second best. And if you are second best and you get beat, then you can't really complain about it. They are playing against a team that have been incredibly spirited. You always have to remember that about a team. If they are spirited, they are maybe an improving team. They have got a brilliant spirit, which they clearly have got a brilliant spirit about them. So, and they're actually bringing on, in a moment, some very exciting talent. So they actually could get better in these last 10 minutes.
Yeah, they are preparing to bring on Hannibal Mejbri, but he prefers Hannibal, so we'll refer to him as that. Of Manchester United, on loan at Birmingham this season, 19 years of age, a big up-and-coming talent for Tunisia. This is 20th cap as a teenager, and he will enter the field of play.
He's not a difficult one to spot, is he? Let's be fair about it. He's got the big hair down there, so you'll be able to spot him a mile away. So he's making the job. Jabeli is going to come off as well. Jabeli for, well, it's funny to see what they're doing here. It's actually difficult to see what they're doing. I think they've changed it.
Yes, there's a bit of slight confusion here about who is coming off. So the second player coming on is Taha Yassine Knesi.
Yep.
So the two players on for Tunisia, and the players off, Jabali and the captain, Msakni Youssef, who has struggled with injury this season in the build-up to the tournament. He's fit enough for the tournament. He started today, but one of those where perhaps you don't necessarily want to run him into the ground in the opening match.
Exactly. And well, what I just said about Jabeli beforehand, you know, most likely to score, but also completely running out of juice. And there's not anything other than you worked and you gave everything you had for every minute you were on the field. So you would applaud him for that.
So Denmark in possession as we enter the final 10 minutes. Still 0-0 here at Education City Stadium in this Group D opener. France against Australia to come. That's our 7 o'clock commentary UK time. 4 o'clock, Mexico against Poland. That's up next. But Denmark, having hit the post 10 minutes or so ago, when really Andreas Cornelius, I say really, absolutely Andreas Cornelius should have hit the back of the net from about 2 yards with the header.
I mean, you'll be thinking, but that's one of those ones, you know yourself, and it looked bad in the first instance, you know, at full speed, and it is one of those ones that at slow motion it looks awful. You think, you know, it's the old turtle head. Instead of coming out, it goes back in again. Oh dear, they'll not be. He's a big, strong lad as well. It's the last thing you expect from him.
So goal kick Tunisia, which Daman will take. Yes, he had a very underwhelming spell at Cardiff. Any Cardiff fans listening to us will remember that. But a very good cameo, ironically, off the bench against Wales in the last 16 at the Euros, as he comes down the left-hand side once more and is dispossessed. It will be a throw to Denmark deep in Tunisian territory. I remember seeing one Wales social media account saying it just sums up this match, the last 16 defeat, that he's turned into prime Thierry Henry for 20 minutes. But that's what can happen at major tournaments. He's certainly, unfortunately for Denmark, not done that today. And as Kasper Schmeichel has it back, it's that feeling as well. They know that number 9 spot is up for grabs in this tournament. Nobody has nailed it down. And so far, nobody nailing it down in this match either for Denmark. As Damsgaard goes down, looks around to see if the free kick is going to be awarded. It's not, and Tunisia go all the way back to their goalkeeper, Darmen, once more. 8 minutes plus added time to play on a World Cup where we have seen today one of the biggest shocks in the tournament's history. Saudi Arabia beating Argentina by 2-1. All the reaction to that match and the other 3, plus all the debate and analysis around all the stories of this World Cup. Catch up with your latest dose of the World Cup Daily podcast on BBC Sounds. We have it all for you across the tournament as Denmark come down the left-hand side. Myler picks it up left-hand side of the penalty area, goes in, sliding challenge.
I thought for a minute there, the referee thought about it. He slid in there, and it's Hannibal, isn't it? He's gone back. He doesn't look natural back there when he's defending. And I was trying to see who it was there. It was, you know,
Myler was going down to the byline,
Yeah, Myler was going down to the byline. He slid in there. Don't slide in there unless you're sure you're going to get the ball. This will probably be looked at. He's off the field when the tackle actually happens. And I think he's got very lucky there, Hannibal. He actually made a mistake in the first place. He got caught far too far up the field, and Myler ran behind him. So a little bit of nous. You need a little bit of knowledge when you're playing in that position, and he lost his man.
Well, VAR are happy, the referee's happy, and we're back underway, and Tunisia have the ball midway inside the Denmark half. 0-0, 5 Live BBC Sounds and across Africa on the World Service. Tunisia in possession, just inside their own half, out to the right-hand side, and Dylan Brom plays it forward, looking for the run of Hannibal of Manchester United, but he won't keep that in. It goes out for a Denmark goal kick.
A wee bit of a shame from there, because what they have done is they've changed their entire front line. So Hannibal's on, Kenesi's on, and Sleepy is on, and they've got pace. Now we'll see what the quality's like as well, but I think they've almost gone to, what is it, a 4-3-3 again. You know, they're comfortable with that position. It's adapting a little bit, but what they've definitely got now in that front line of 3 players, they've got players that can run beyond those centre backs. Clever manoeuvre there, because there are tired Danish players out there as well.
But it's Denmark who are enjoying more of the possession in the final stages of this match. Here's Mathias Jensen of Brentford, plays it out to Højbjerg of Tottenham, and now Denmark will try and build down the right-hand side. Andersen back to Højbjerg, and now Andreas Christensen out to Jensen once more. Tunisia with all the white shirts behind the ball. As Myler lifts the ball across, that's a slightly awkward one for Andreas Christensen to deal with. Jensen comes across to help him out. He's caught late there by Knesi, and the referee says that that will be a free kick and a yellow card. That's going to be for Knesi as well. But credit to Tunisia there, not for the foul obviously, but immediately, as soon as they saw that ball was poor there to Christensen, 2 white shirts immediately up, immediately quickly, and they almost, had they not committed the foul, were in there.
Yeah, and it's kind of a wee bit harsh. You know, I think he's clearing the ball and he follows through with the foot there. Foul maybe. Yellow card, absolutely, definitely 100% not. You know, he's followed through to clear the ball, and your body's there. You're going in, you have to make a challenge. There's no raised studs, nothing like that. So pretty harsh on Knesi there, but they need to do that. They're being sent on to go and chase and try and make something happen, and they're trying to do that, but they'll get 5 minutes to do it.
Well, they are preparing to make another change, a double change, Tunisia, as Denmark play the ball down the right-hand side, and the yellow card for Knesi is announced in the stadium. And it is opening up down this left-hand side for Tunisia. If they can keep it in, they can. Andersen comes across, well read by Andersen. Sliding challenge, won't be brought away, though, by Denmark. And Slitty has it over on the left-hand side, in field to Laidouni. And now Tunisia see Denmark's red shirts form up in that formation, trying to prevent Tunisia getting forward towards this penalty area in the latter stages, but they've done well there. Outside the box, Tunisia goes Ali Abdi out to the left-hand side now. Ball into the penalty area, won by the head of Myler. Tunisia bring it forward once more, but it's intercepted by Damsgaard. And can Denmark break now? Here is Andreas Cornelius, who's missed that absolute sitter in this second half for Denmark. What he is good at doing is winning fouls. He holds the ball up well, he wins fouls well, and he's been tripped by Drager, and it's a foul to Denmark just inside the Tunisia half left-hand side.
Yeah, Drager knew exactly what he was doing there. He was killing a break there, and it was a dangerous break. It was the last thing he's going to do in the game, because he's going to get taken off. Is it Kesh who's coming on?
Yep, Kesh.
He's going to come on for him, and I think he's had a very good game, Drager. He's not lost much down that right-hand side. He's had decent players against him, and you know, you expect a lot from Mailer, because Mailer's a really, really talented player. Got very, very little out of him, but he needs a rest. And
someone else who needs a rest, Laidouni, who is coming off. He's been fantastic to watch, and it's that combination, isn't it, we've talked about during the game. Brilliant in the tackle, brilliant skill as well. I'm not sure I've seen a player that combines those two. And yes, this reception he's getting from the Tunisian fans. Look at him, he's applauding. He's so hard together as he comes off as well. Everything he does is just passion. That's what underlines it.
You get the big hug for the manager and the high fives, everyone. But very, very, very special effect he's had on the game today. But he hadn't as much of an effect in the game last 15 minutes. As I said, I thought he might run out of juice. He lasted longer than I expected.
Tunisia have to clear the ball away inside their own penalty area. Fajani Sassi is the other player to come on. So no, Wabi Kazri, their leading scorer in the World Cup qualifiers, their leading scorer at World Cups, full stop for Tunisia. Former Sunderland man, he's a co-captain, along with Msakni, but not used in the opening match for Tunisia. Denmark it is in possession. 90 seconds plus added time to play. And you did make me smile, Pat, 4 minutes ago when you said there's only 4 minutes to play. Who knows the added time? I mean, we could have another 10. There's not really been that many stoppages, but...
Just a whole bunch of substitutions. One or two little stoppages here and there. But the referee, actually, I have to say, he's handled it quite well. Because right at the start of the game, there's a lot of throwing themselves about.
Here come Tunisia as they look to catch Denmark cold on the counter, having won the ball, cutting in from the left-hand side. They want a free kick there. They're not going to get it as Rasmus Christensen went in. The ball is back with Joachim Andersen. It's a high ball out to the right-hand side. It's a poor ball out to the right-hand side, and Tunisia will have a throw.
Yeah, Slitty when he gets the ball. He's got a trick, hasn't he? He's absolutely got a trick there. But his final ball after he goes by the defender hasn't been great so far. But it's lovely to see that little shimmy and dummy and going by a defender.
So Tunisia in possession inside their own penalty area, 0-0 here at Education City. The ball forward looking for Hannibal is intercepted. Here is Damsgaard, plays it to his Brentford teammate Mathias Jensen, and now Joachim Mæhle lays it back to Jensen once more. The whistles and the jeers once again rise around the stands, which are packed with Tunisia fans at Education City. And the ball goes out for a Denmark throw. They take it quickly. Here is Damsgaard. Back forward to Mæhle. It's a corner. Quickly to Mexico, Poland for the team news. John Murray.
The news is that Raul Jimenez of Wolves has not been deemed fit enough to start their first match. So it is Henry Martin instead who will be the centre forward for Mexico. But the centre forward for Poland is straightforward enough. Robert Lewandowski, the captain, who is yet to score at the World Cup.
Thanks, John. Commentary follows the conclusion of this match here as Eriksson swings the corner in for Denmark, and the header is cleared away inside the 6-yard box by Tunisia, sent back in by Denmark. Tunisia will get the second clearance up towards halfway. Damsgaard gets a foot in, keeps it in. He's done really well there, Damsgaard, over his head, and it's headed out of play, safety first by Rajidi Keshrida, who's just come on.
It's going to be a long 5 extra minutes, isn't it? A long 5 extra minutes for a lot of the players out there because the pace this game has been played at. And just at this moment, it's beginning to swing, isn't it, again? A wee bit more in Denmark's favour. They've got a lot of powerful players in there. I suspect they'll get at least one more chance between now and the end.
Well, he's going for the long throw, Jensen, into the penalty area. The header is won by Tunisia and then claimed by Ayman Darman, the goalkeeper.
The striker's gone flying up the pitch there, trying to beat the Danish defenders. He's not turned around and looked at his keeper, who's lying on the ground on top of the ball. No interest in playing it early.
Yeah, not quite on the same wavelength, were they there? From an attacking and a defensive. One's got one job and one's got the other, and they didn't quite mesh there. But Denmark have won it back. Space for Andreas Cornelius, just outside the deep. Very well defended by Tunisia. Got the footing, comes out to Joachim Mæhle. His shot in is blocked. The deflection will almost take it behind. In fact, it will take it behind despite Darman's dive. He was trying to send it out for the throw, but it is a corner to Denmark. And we're seeing shots of the Tunisia fans close up in the stands. They almost can't watch it. It's been a brilliant performance from Tunisia, but this is where Denmark could snatch it.
They are right to be concerned because it's a corner kick and they're looking very, very wary, and the Danes have been very dangerous from these, particularly Eriksson's corners.
Eriksson with the delivery. Tunisia make a hash of clearing it. They do get it away. Denmark are screaming for a handball. Nothing given by the referee on the pitch. VAR, of course, will have a look, but we play on. Kasper Schmeichel has it. Long over halfway. The red shirts of Denmark are still up there. The header is won on the far side by Ali Abdi, but Denmark send it in once more. Oh, that's missed by Darman. What a hash he almost made of that. Tunisia really struggling to clear their lines. It's a corner to Denmark. Well, the ball comes in. Darman makes a real hash of the save. He does get his body in front of it, but only almost manages to parry it to Andreas Cornelius, and the ball is somehow bundled behind. The most nervy moment in the Tunisia back line by far.
You said it.
Corner to Denmark. Christian Eriksen. We're into the final minute of added time. It's Eriksen for Denmark as they look to break Tunisian hearts. The referee is making sure that nothing's going on inside the penalty area now. He's looking for a penalty.
Yeah,
a VAR check for a possible penalty to Denmark. Coming over to the screen now is the referee.
I've not seen it again, but I suspect he might give this one. Purely because he's let it go a long time. There's a couple of grabs, there's a push, there's a handball as well. I think the hands are quite high up, but I think that's one they're looking at first. His hands are high up. No, I think that's harsh. Yeah, we shall see if it's given. His hands are very high up towards his. Yeah, I agree with him.
No, the decision is no penalty, no handball. It will be a corner, and that's an example of a referee coming over to the screen and saying, you know what, I'm sticking with my original decision, and credit to him.
And giving a free kick to the Tunisians because there was a drag back, just in front of it there, a little bit of a push beforehand. There was a handball there, but it's come off his chest and come up and hit his hand, and there's nothing you can do about that. There is no penalty there. The referee's got that one right.
It's one of those, is the body being made unnaturally bigger? We have conversations about it all the time in the Premier League, but as you say, it's close range. For where they are in the box, the referees deem that's not an unnatural position.
And it's hit off a part of the body and gone on.
Which is also something that they will take into consideration. Although, if you put your hand out and it does that and your hands are above your shoulder, then, sorry, it's still a penalty, is the way that FIFA see it.
What a horrible and unfair end to the game that would have been had that been given.
And again, we have to say, as Denmark win the header, send it forward, cleared away by Tunisia, credit to the referee, because so often we see them come over and change the decision.
He's had a really good game. He's had a very good game.
Here come Denmark. We've played the minimum 5 minutes added on. Is there time for one last attack? Myler down the left-hand side, lays it off to Damsgaard, 30 yards out, drifts the ball into the right-hand side. Tunisia win the header with Abdi, cleared away. And Tunisia are thinking about having a counter here. Slight look at the referee. They played the 1-2. There's just too much on it. They won't keep it in. The throw is awarded to Denmark. We still play on. They, of course, will add on a little bit more time for that VAR check if they're being as strict on the stoppages as we've seen so far. So, Denmark with the ball inside their own half. 0-0. Whistles all around us at Education City. The Tunisia fans who have packed out this stadium want the whistle to go. They're desperate for the whistle to go. But Denmark are coming down the left-hand side. Here is Myler. Nice skill. Plays it behind. Corner. The referee awards it, and it looks as though there'll be time to take it.
Yeah, just seconds to go, and it's painful, and you can see the panic in that defence there. They've held on so well up until this point, but it's what Denmark are playing for. They're playing for set pieces. They're very, very good at them. They've had a few chances already. Can they get another one now?
They've hit the post from a set piece. They've been second best in this match. Christian Eriksen over this corner for Denmark. It's drifted in. The header is towards goal, but it's an easy one for Darman to claim, and the roar will tell you that he's done so. He drops to the ground inside the 6-yard box. And Tunisia, who have put in a fantastic performance here against Denmark. Tunisia, on reflection, who will certainly feel that they've had the chances to win this, that they've been the better side. And they might get a late chance here. The referee says no. It was Kinesi, the substitute, running through, but he's been penalised. Still we play on. We played the minimum 5. We know there's a bit more time added on, but it's been 2 minutes now for that VAR decision. And Denmark might get another last chance.
Yeah, you never know. But the referee will be tempted, just to give one last go at it. Not much more than that.
Cornelius chests it down on the edge of the penalty area. Damsgaard won't reach it, and the free kick has been given against Denmark. Still we play on. 0-0, Tunisia with a free kick on the edge of their penalty area. I think this is the thing, when the added time's given, we know there was a little bit of stoppage for the VAR, but it's anyone's guess as how long we're going on for now.
And then you play the whistle, that's it, full stop, play the whistle. Don't worry about the referee. You have to accept it, he knows what he's doing. And to be fair, I think he's had a fantastic game today. He's got very, very little wrong, and he's been very intelligent and brave.
Well, there is the final whistle, and Tunisia, several of their players sink to their knees in gratitude, in appreciation, after what has been a very, very good performance against a Denmark side who many feel could be mentioned among the names that can go deep into this World Cup. But they've been held by Tunisia, they've been outplayed by Tunisia. They did hit the post in the second half when Andreas Cornelius really should have scored. But Pat Nevin, as you said in commentary, it's 0-0. It was a decent one.
It was a very good 0-0. There were plenty of incidents, and there were mistakes that were interesting as well. There were a couple of really good calls for the man of the match. I mean, certainly Daman nearly threw one in at the end, but actually he'd been very, very good considering the amount of pressure was put on for, you know, particularly for set pieces. Every time Christian Eriksen got the ball, he looks as if he's going to be dangerous, but again, particularly from set pieces. But you just love watching the Tunisians play, because for them, they come in as underdogs, they come out the better team, but also the most exciting team, the more entertaining team. And of course, on top of that, they had my favourite. Honestly, Laidouni. I am watching them next time they play for him and nothing else. It doesn't matter anything else what happens. I'm going to watch him because he has a joy and an interest and an excitement, and he can play a bit. Loved watching him play, and Tunisia deserved the point and maybe just a bit more.
Glum faces from the Denmark players as they go over to applaud that contingent of Denmark fans in the far corner. All smiles for Tunisia as they greet that red bank of supporters behind the goal. It's been a good performance, a good point for them. And Kelly, it finishes at Education City. Denmark 0, Tunisia 0.